Hi, my name is Tina Salmans, and this is my case study for ELD 856. When you begin any case, you always have to begin with the facts. You're kind of like the detective. So here's what we know. Mrs. Rose is a new assistant principal at JFK School. She has noticed that the school has little or no contact with parents or the community currently. She's been there for 4 months. She knows there has been past parent groups. She has discussed her concerns with her principal, but he doesn't seem very encouraging. He feels that parents are better left alone. We also know that when he first became a principal, he wanted the same things as her, but he has encountered lots of empathy from parents and they didn't seem to show for meetings. He tried to get volunteers, but he wasn't sure the parents want to get involved. He thinks if there's too much pressure, the consequences will be negative. We also know that the principal feels he is direct with the community as far as communication goes. He feels his phone calls and parent-teacher conferences give him a pulse of the community, and he feels like they don't want to get involved. However, because Miss Rose is persistent, eventually she did approach him about the importance of parent involvement, and he agreed that it was important, but made it clear he wasn't going to approve a PTA or a PTO. Excuse me. We also know that he would consider forming a parents advisory group, at least get something started. So they decided that on Friday they would send an announcement, and it was distributed to let the parents know about a special meeting that was coming up regarding parent involvement. And the night of the meeting, only 8 parents showed up, leaving us with the question of Mrs. Rose and the principal and what they're going to do as to whether they're going to have the meeting or not. So now that we know all the facts, now we have to decide what is it that we still need to know. First, what is the size of the school? Is it possible that 8 parents is actually a good number of people showing up? Second, why did the PTA or the PTO organizations that were once established diminish? Was it poor communication? Was it lack of people wanting to be involved? What was the real reason? Next, do the parents that showed up represent all ethnic backgrounds of the students? We don't know what the ethnicity of the school is, so making sure that having community representations as well as parents that represent all ethnic backgrounds is important to know. And anytime you send a letter home with parents, I always wonder is, did the students really give their parents the notice? So were they truly and accurately informed? And finally, if Miss Rose is willing to head the PTO or PTA, would the principal support that? As at this point, he isn't. So maybe, depending on the support that shows up, would he really change his mind? So now we have to identify the problem. You notice that I have a little graphic down there. And behind it, it says schools and parents have to come together. And then you notice that at this point, they are not. So the problem that I think is there is lack of parental involvement and community involvement in the John F. Kennedy School due to possible communication issues. So now we need a plan. How are we going to solve this problem? First, you need to go ahead with the meeting and describe the plan that I've designed. Parents need to know that we are excited that they're there, even though they're small. Sometimes you need to start small to grow, and you need to let them spread word of mouth what the exciting plans are that lay ahead. Second, for the next meeting, you need to advise by more than just a flyer, and you need to use social media, possible school website or a Facebook page. Our school has a phone and text messaging alert system. You could do it that way and give multiple notice and also give them in advance so that parents have a way to schedule and make adjustments and arrangements. Third, post the meetings from the plan on the school website, send home a flyer with parents, or possibly put it in a local newspaper if you have one. That way parents are aware that, oh yes, they did meet and they are going to do something. I want to get involved, as well as bring the community in. Fourth, begin researching what caused the previous organizations to diminish. You could talk to staff that's been there a while. You could talk to parents in the community. Get a feel for what happened. Fifth, design a survey to see what parents would like to see happening in the school. Recheck the pulse. The principal is confident, but are you? Get your own data and information. Of course, you probably should run it by him so he has an idea and it feels like it's his baby too. Sixth, update the staff at the next staff meeting as to what is happening and ask for support and advice on what they think might work. They've been there a while. Get their fill. Seventh, you got to keep the principal in the know and let him know that you are willing to take that I, as Ms. Rose, am willing to take the leadership responsibility and will bet whatever may come of the situation, but I will keep him up to date. And of course, you need to keep the Board of Education up on the plan. They need to be aware of what you're trying to do. Ninth, plan a possible community event with parents in the community groups. So those 8 parents that showed up, tell them what your plan is. Get an idea of how we can get not only parents but community groups in so that we can build the relationship between all stakeholders, keep the communication positive, and bring in as many community members as possible so that the district is supported. 10th, send a flyer to community groups to share the vision of what the school wants to build, possibly coming out of that parent meeting or the next parent meeting so that you have an idea. Get their idea and fill on it. And then finally, provide community groups with opportunities to be involved in our school, possibly sponsor of athletic or arts events so that they know that we support them in all, that the community supports the school in all realms. So now we have to resolve some issues and we have to answer the question. The ultimate question in any case, and should always be leading any teacher decision, is what is best for the students. The school, the parents, and the community must have a positive working relationship. In the text it said that I have learned through my master's class the importance of a comprehensive program with parents and community. I have to build that. It's missing, so it is best for students. It's proven and there's tons of data. Also, communication should be consistent, clear, and concise. In the information we were given, an invitation was sent to parents regarding a parent meeting, but we need to make sure that that communication is always coming home. Another one is I should know how the community feels about our school and have data to prove to myself, the staff, and the board. The principal said he knows the pulse of parents and community, but what proof does he have other than his gut feeling? Need to get to the root of that problem. I need to design something or a survey for that with his help and support. And then finally, I should go ahead with those meetings, with the meeting. 8 parents showed up for the meeting. They're concerned. They want to be there. I need to let them know that it's important that they showed up. So go ahead with the meeting. Start making a plan. As I reflect over this case study, my feelings, thinking, and values. First, I was sad and concerned that after 4 months, there was little to no community or parent involvement. Also discouraged when the principal said there was no need for a parent community group. I know he's been through the same classes as me. He has seen the data. He knows it's important. Then, as a leader, you feel determined to have a meeting and bring parents and community in. You don't quit. You also know that your presentation must be clear and concise with a strong mission, values, and goals. You don't want to waste their time. They want to be there for a purpose. Never give up. Most things start small. In fact, sometimes it's easier when they're small because you have less discrepancies. Questions? How do I convince my boss about the importance of parent and community support when he seems adamant that we don't need it? Or he did at the beginning anyway. How do I bring more parents in and the community in? Did something happen in the past that turned parents off? How can I fix that problem? How does my staff feel about parent and community involvement? I have to have buy-in from everybody, not just parents and community, but also my staff. Would different meeting times and dates make a difference on the amount of parents who are attending? So maybe having a morning meeting and an evening meeting depending on shift work that might be happening in your community. And then make a list of the importance of the strong relationship between the school and all stakeholders to be shared with everyone, so everyone knows how important it is. Collaborating with families and community members, how am I going to do that? I'm going to use multiple means of communication: social media, phone, text messages, flyers, word of mouth, newsletters. I'm also going to make sure it goes home in the languages that are pertinent to our district and our school. I'm also going to give a survey to check the pulse of the views of the stakeholders. That way they know I want them to be involved, but I want to solve problems and make things better for our school and community. And third, I'm going to schedule more meetings and share the vision and goals of this group. I will make sure that that's posted on the website, as well as maybe give out a monthly newsletter from the principal. How am I going to make sure the diverse needs and interests of the community are met? First, I'm going to have that parent meeting to let them know they are important. We're going to discuss our vision and goals. We're going to create some things that we want to happen. We're going to make a list of possible meeting dates and how we're going to bring the parents and the community in. Second, I'm going to give monthly flyers about the importance of the positive and caring relationship between the school and community with ways to help. And in that monthly newsletter, if I do it and show the parents that it's important, or that my staff that it's important, maybe they'll follow suit too, lead by example. Share the results of the survey, but do so with caution as to not hinder the success of the future organization. Take it step by step, but be aware that you need to share the results. And then finally, how am I going to mobilize community resources? I'm going to bring in community groups for a common event to show support. Whether it's an art fair or a craft fair or a sporting event and they have booths set up, we're going to bring them in and hopefully they'll attend meetings and that will show support. Next, I'm going to have flyers for the community groups to post for all stakeholders to see. And hopefully if the students are involved and maybe they can take some around too, and then the community members know that they're not only supporting me as a teacher and the parents, but they're also seeing it in the students, it would be vitally important. Third, ask for support of extracurricular activities. Maybe they could sponsor a barbecue, or maybe they could do a raffle. Come in and let the parents and the teachers and the staff know that the community wants to support them. And then finally, form a committee that is willing to meet and communicate with all community groups. Have a vision in mind in the front of every meeting and make sure it's followed. And these community groups and the parent groups and the staff, everybody can work together. I hope you've enjoyed how I would solve this case. Thank you.